pivot into this section, if time is your most valuable resource, then always keep an eye on how are people spending their time? Is it the right work? And is it going to impact student experiences and student learning? So always keeping in mind, reflecting on yourself, your own time, and the time of the leaders that you're building that capacity in. And so with time, just a quick glance at calendaring. Calendaring for learning and support. First, keep in mind that these calendaring practices need to be aligned, and they should reflect what's most important to you. So these are the things you may want to consider. What does your own calendar look like? Who's helping you with that? Do you have an admin support that's helping? If so, make sure they're aware of what the priority is. They can help you keep an eye on it. Also, is there a campus learning calendar? We'll talk about all of these more in detail, but that first one, the campus learning calendar, is really about teachers. So if we are thinking about what's coming up, a potential implementation dip, and how are we going to lead through it, we have to keep in mind what we know. Here's what we know. The teacher is the most important factor when it comes to student learning. There's nothing that will impact student learning more than teachers. So if you're thinking about leadership time, analyze leadership calendars and how much of that time is devoted to supporting teachers in their practice. So that means, of course, being in classrooms, but how are you planning for ongoing professional learning, for example? So here's an example of ongoing job-embedded professional learning for teachers, and that's why it's really either a PLC or a PD calendar. It may have a lot of different names, but at the end of the day, it's how we're supporting instructional practices of teachers. So, for example, here's, and this is all in the resources, by the way, so you can look at these in more detail on your own, but here's a list of just general, like in your calendar, you might have PD days, so your August dates are in there, but maybe you only have 2 more days in the school year where something like that could happen, where you have a good chunk of professional learning. This is why it's even more critical, and this is part of the effective schools framework, it's in there. This is the ongoing job embedded professional learning that we provide for teachers. And again, these are examples of plans, but the leadership move is to have a plan, calendar it, and stick to it, and make sure that that support happens. That whatever practices we prioritized for our students to experience, that we are supporting teachers with ongoing job embedded PD, that it's not just, oh, well, Ms. Clement, you learned that in August, so you should be expertly implementing it in your classroom every day. Actually, I need follow-up support. I need reminders. I need refreshing on that professional learning. So we know we get busy in schools, and the dip happens. This is how we lead through the dip. We stick to calendars to stay consistent with our professional learning that stays with our priorities that we set at the beginning of the year that we would have. And of course, a principal or an instructional leader calendar should reflect those things. So this is just a glance at a principal's calendar that shows that I'm in collaboration meetings with teachers. I'm also scheduling time, sacred structured time, to do classroom observations. So I know that's a struggle for all of us, is to get everything that we know is a priority into our schedule. So use your calendar. But here are some other calendar things to think about. The admin team. Calibrate your calendar with each other. Coordinate it to impact effectiveness. If I am an AP and Letty is my principal, then we should sit and calendar together so that I'm in classrooms when she's available on, for things that come up, and so on. So admin team can absolutely increase their effectiveness by coordinating their calendars. And then the calendars of other instructional leaders on your campus, where that's coaches, specialists, maybe even teacher leaders, just make sure that their time is calendared aligned with those same priorities. So if we are all prioritizing the same things, we have a better shot at getting it done, and especially through the implementation dip that will inevitably come in the fall. And just another side note, thinking about sometimes if we're helping to lead schedules and calendaring for our instructional coaches or specialists, or even ourselves, make sure you put in time for yourselves to prep and to really plan for all the work that you're doing. Is there think time on calendars? Do coaches have time to plan for PLC meetings that they're leading? Sometimes we forget to put those things in for ourselves as leaders, and that's how we get burnt, right? So we want to prevent burnout, which can also be the way the implementation dip happens. So just keep in mind that you plan that for yourselves as leaders, time to put thought and structure into your planning. And then finally, I would just say, again, because I've said it, I'm a little bit of a broken record, meet frequently, calibrate, adjust, speak with one voice, because that is going to carry you through as you persist and lead through the dip. And then just a side note, we also have to consider district calendars. So if it's not in your practice yet, make sure you monitor what's going on with district calendars, because this will help you minimize surprise. If I'm asking my campus to trust me and I make plans and I don't consider the district calendar and the district events ahead, then those things will surprise us, flip the table on our plans, and it will keep us from building that trust we so need. So keep an eye on the district and communicate clearly about what's happening at the district level so that it all can be coordinated. And I love this note about looking for alignment. So inevitably, you're going to have things that happen from your district calendaring and planning. Look for how they align with your priorities and then help communicate that alignment. In other words, if something comes up and the district asks us all to do something, instead of seeing it as a barrier or a change, we look for that alignment and say, oh, we're doing this because it goes with this, and this was our priority from the beginning. So that can be super helpful. And then finally, this is what I will definitely put in your brain, and you'll hear us saying this all the time, is keep your balance by focusing on what you can control. I love this graphic because it helps calm me down when I'm stressed out or overwhelmed, or if I'm hitting this dip. What can we control in our school? We can absolutely control our own calendars that we've talked about today. We can control our own professional practices and how we lead the professional practices of others. We have control over that, our own moves that result in our school culture, how the adults behave, how the students are supported, and we can control how we support instructional practices in classrooms. There are things we have influence over, but the biggest thing also is things are going to come up every single day that are outside of our control or influence, and the important thing is at the bottom. We have a finite amount of energy, time, and resources, so let's not waste any of that blaming or perseverating, I like to say, focusing too much on those things that are outside of our control. So I would say put this nugget in and use it to keep your own balance as you move forward and lead through this dip.